Okay, so we'll have time, I'll try to allow time to work on the table as we go and then the real estate, so I know it's kind of a little back and forth, but hopefully you'll about get caught up with the real estate one. And upload that. My screen will be coming on here in just a minute. So I wanted to go as far as the class itself. So we're doing pretty well really time-wise, but at the same time next week, so Monday is, we aren't here anyway, but Monday is Veterans Day. So we'll be starting on the favorites table, so tables basically, and they're a lot like words, so I don't think it's anything that's going to be, you know, difficult at all. If you've worked in Word, it's pretty much the same thing. And then we'll be starting, you know, some of our bigger projects, so getting kind of near the end, and I know everything just kind of happens all at once at the end, and I want to make sure you have time for that newsletter too. So I am kind of trying to push. So tables in general, tables can be used for anything that you want to format in some sort of a column, or, you know, and really with strong alignment in a lot of ways. But you can leave borders, you know, kind of a cell looking table with rows, stroke rows and table stroke and such. You can leave the stroke on, or you can actually format something that looks like a table and then totally remove all the lines, and you've got something that's very, you know, designed and aligned and evenly spaced and all that good stuff. So a lot of times folks use tables to create normal projects that seemingly don't look like a table. But we'll look at selecting table elements, you know, the panels and menus, table headers, resizing, adding, deleting columns and rows, adjusting text frames, applying color to cells, pattern of color to cells, customizing the table and cell strokes, merging and splitting, and then using a table instead of tabs. So we're going to be practicing with the little 5 points. So again, what we do today, you want to make sure that you save, and then we'll upload that. So go into InDesign, and again, be sure to save wherever you're at in your real estate project. Be sure to save, okay? And then do a create new. And if you want to just go to print, and we'll do a straight letter. So just the print at the top, letter. Remove the facing. So facing, we just need a one-page facing page. Everything else is standard. So one column is fine. 3P0 for margins is fine all the way around, and normal one, and go ahead and create. And I'll go to my little hover cam here. So this shows here, so you can have all sorts of different things within a table. So there's little graphics, there's seemingly normal type, there's fancy type. You can also see that there's an extra box that appears to be drawn around the table. So you have to have a table inside a text frame, which is kind of weird, but it's the same as everything else. There's a frame and a stroke around the table and with the table. So we'll go ahead, and actually she's got some things that, you know, designs that don't really look like a table that are formatted using a table. So anyway, we'll go ahead and start creating. So if you want to create, and on your menu you'll have, you know, the file edit, etc. So you'll see table there, and you should see create table at the very top. So we'll go to create our table, and then we can tell it how many rows we want, how many columns we want, if we want a header row or footer rows, and if there's a particular style. So your company may have created a table style. We don't have any now, so but let's do 5 rows, 4 columns, and do 1 header row. So 5 rows, 4 columns, 1 header. And then OK to that. And you get kind of like when you do a file place, remember, until you click something. So what we can do is just click and drag, and as large as you make this, so if you just click and drag, you're going to get the size. So the vertical cell height and the width is in relation to the size that you click and drag. Okay, and it evens it, automatically distributes it all out. Okay, the header row is our first row, and actually kind of like Excel, and we'll put in some header information, but remember in Excel where you can just, or Word, not Excel, actually Word, where you're at the very end cell, you press tab key, you get a whole nother row, so this is exactly the same, a lot of it's the same. Okay, so let's go ahead and start formatting. So we may, and this is NFL teams is what we'll do. So just something that's kind of fun. So we might do the NFL team maybe first. And you can tab key or click to get to the next one. And we may have head coach. And we may have quarterback. And then we may have the conference. And if we have other things we want to add, then we need to add another column. So that's really easy to do. There's a table, and I can land on insert, and then I can get a row or a column. You have to be in the table to get those options. So if you're not, if I'm clicked away from the table, for example, and I come back here, then I'm getting normal type things because I'm not in the table. So you have to double click inside the table. And again, I can right mouse click too, but table. So let's go ahead and insert, and I can do a column, and I want to make sure that I'm inserting it, do I want it left or do I want it right? So I want one maybe, and I want it to the right. So let's go ahead and say okay to right. And then this one, maybe I want to do the logo, team logo, something like that. Okay, and then I kind of have to skinny things up a little bit. And just like Microsoft Word, remember how you get the double-headed lines in between? So the team might be a little bit larger. The head coach, I'm thinking of names, and we might need to type some in. The quarterback is probably a little bit larger again, so I'm just imagining names of folks, and we may need to shift enter key to bring them down. Conference is, AFC West, AFC North, so that's going to be a little bit smaller. And then the team logo, so again, I'm just kind of squishing things in. Team logo, we don't have to have anything really super huge, so maybe I can squish that in a little bit more. And we can change this as we go. Same thing with if I want my top cell to be smaller, I can just click and drag that up. So, and again, where it is right now, it doesn't really matter, but when you did that, did you notice that, so if you made one cell a little bit smaller, did you notice that the box, so the frame is larger? Okay, if I make that frame larger, and I'll double click in that last cell, so the very bottom last cell, press my tab key, it automatically is going to help me out. And if I keep doing that, so do a whole bunch of tabs, like maybe 6, well, you might have to do some more. It goes, so you have to be in the last one all the time. Hopefully it's going to do a whole bunch of them. So what we want it to do is go to the next page. And we'll make it go to the next page here in just a minute. So we only have one page, so it's going to tell us you've got more in here, and I can't show it. Do you have the red plus sign? Okay, so you want to make sure you tab enough times that you have that red plus sign. Okay. So let's insert a page, and again, you can go to your layout pages. I can add a page or insert a page. So insert a page, one page after this one would be fine. So I've got my page, and I can scroll up and down. And we can see how far, so I don't even have to drag this down. I can leave it at the bottom. Maybe I've got some other information. I've got to type company information or something that I want here, so I may not want it to take the entire page. But click on page 1 so that the red plus sign is deeper red. Remember how you can click on it and you have to click when it's a deep red color to get it to load. So I'm going to click then on my little plus sign here. Go down to page 2, and again, I'll kind of click and drag within the margins, and I might be clicking and dragging larger than the number of boxes I have. And again, I can keep adding, so tab key. So it repeats the header at the top because we told it we had a header. So that's kind of nice. We didn't have to redo that. All right, so whether you like these teams or not, we're just getting information in, so that's really the point here. So let's do the first one, New England Patriots. And they may or may not wrap, so don't worry about the wrapping part yet. Would it help if I increase the size so that you can see the type? Okay, and my mouse. I've got too much going on here. There we go. Is that large enough or not quite? Is that better? Okay. Head coach for the Patriots is Bill, and yep, B-E-L-I-C-H-I-C-K. Bill Belichick. The quarterback is who? Yeah. The conference, who knows, but it's AFC East because I looked it up. I'm not real good at the whole conference thing. In fact, the NFL and the AFC, the NFL, or NFC and AFC. Yeah, anyway, with the team logo, we may not have that yet. So you can just tab key to the next one down. And we may have the Kansas City Chiefs. And Andy Reid is their coach, and we don't know, but we think Patrick Mahomes will be back soon. I think he was practicing, and they are AFC West. And another one, so I'll kind of cruise down here. Of course, we have to have the Denver Broncos. I know they're horrible, but this year they're horrible. Let's see. So their head coach is Vic Fangio, I think is how you pronounce that. I don't know who their quarterback is. I think Flacco's hurt, and I don't know, but I went with Brandon Allen. I don't know. Does anybody know that one? Anyway, and then they are AFC West as well. And then we have the Baltimore Ravens. And head coach is John Harbaugh. And their quarterback is Lamar Jackson. Isn't he?
He's gonna work it. Do it all himself.
Yeah, he's a really good quarterback from what I've seen. They are AFC North. And then we have, so Houston, oopsie, there's a J there. Houston, uh-oh. There we go. I just got rid of some stuff that I didn't mean to. So Houston Texans. They are, oh, let's see. Bill O'Brien. The coach, Deshaun, U-N, Deshaun Watson, and then they are AFC South. And the next ones, we've got NFC North. Oopsie, not even that yet. Green Bay Packers. And Matt LaFleur, L-E-F-L-E-U-R, and Aaron, and they are NFC North. And then I might be out of space here. Oh, no, I got one more. I know some people like or hate the Dallas Cowboys, but they're doing well this year, so I just went with the top one, something to type in. Jason Garrett. is their head coach. And Dak Prescott is doing really well. And that's NFC East. And then I need to move down, so some of you, depending upon where you're at. And then we have, let's see, San Francisco 49ers. Their head coach is Kyle Shanahan. And their quarterback is Jimmy, this is a weird spelling, Garoppolo, G-A-R-O-P-P-O-L-O, about as bad as my last name. NFC West. And the last one I have is the New Orleans Saints. Their head coach is Sean Payton. And Drew Brees, he's back, isn't he? And that's NFC South. You know, I think is there one or two? Yep, there is two. There we go.
Can you scroll up to the Galaxy Cowboys? You guys see the cat that got loose on the...
Yeah, that was hilarious. I know. I wonder why he was there. So is he the team mouser? I mean, is there mice in those stadiums? Kind of made me wonder, you know, like, what is that cat doing there, first of all?
Yeah, somebody would have to walk in with it.
Either did they walk in with it, or is there just a cat living there? Yeah, they said, did they say he was a stray, or? Yeah, nobody was, no, and nobody was looking for him and saying, hey, that's my cat. I don't think they'd, hey, that's my cat. And he was a black cat, too. Yeah. Okay, so then, do you have another page? Oh, yours is facing pages. I mean, is that why it's doing that?
Oh, no, I'm not. Sorry.
Oh, see if you can scroll that down. And then put it there. Oh, and I wonder, right now, no. What you can do is, it doesn't matter the order really, but are you thinking order wise?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think if you highlight, so probably highlight those two. So do you just need, oh, you click that. That's it. Okay. Yeah. So that's how you do it. There. Yeah. Oh, weird. Yeah, don't worry about the order. I just go ahead and oh.
so that's
So then it won't let me insert any new. I was trying to do this more rows,
oh,
and it won't.
I wonder if they're, so it's probably,
Oh.
yep, and then there might be more.
It wouldn't even let me do that, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You, so you do have more. That's
I just
okay.
kept trying.
Yeah, so you should be okay. Sure, I think it's definitely.
Thank you.
Any other questions on? And I'm recording this too, so it's, yeah, it'll be on Moodle. Okay, so we've got some information in here anyway. And just in general, oh, and by the way, yes. So I can add yet, so I've got the team logo. Maybe I want to add yet another column. And again, you can squish these up. And I guess what you'd want to do when you squish them up is be sure that when they wrap around that you don't have a hyphenation. So especially with team names, that's pretty important. But if I wanted to get more information in here, maybe I want, you know, my season prediction, for example, as far as, you know, or my favorites or whatever you want to identify here. But in any of these, remember you can shift enter key. So if I want, even if I want the Chiefs one line down, I can still within here shift enter key and force that down. So you can choose how you want it to look. And maybe you want all of them to be city, and then you want the team name down. So again, you can control that yourself. Oops. There we go. And the Cowboys. So we can go ahead and change these. San Francisco 49ers, everything the same. So those automatically. And then the other ones are, you know, we probably, it looks like head coach, I probably have a little bit of room there. So I can move that back. It looks like maybe Harbaugh is about the longest. Jimmy Garoppolo probably is about the longest as far as the quarterback. And again, wherever you get the double-headed arrow, you can click and drag that. I would double check, so go to that second page and just make sure that when you do that, or on the second page, click and drag that. The conference, I think, you know, the AFC Southwest, North, or Norths are going to be the longest there, so you can squish those in. And those are okay. Conference is still okay. We actually probably even have a little bit more room if we need to. We can squish that in even a little bit further. The team logo, I would kind of like it to be maybe a square shape as opposed to what looks like rectangular, but I need more room again here. So again, in any, doesn't matter where you're at, but that right side, so click somewhere, and you can either table, insert a column, or you can right mouse click, insert a column. It doesn't really matter which way you go. But let's insert another column. In my case, I want it to the right, and it's just one column, and then okay. So then I can squish that back in. The logo I want to be about a squarish type shape, so I'm going to go ahead and skinny it up till it's kind of square, and then whatever's left I'll bring in to my margin. And prediction, or my favorites, or season prediction. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, like, you want the table, you want to answer both options are correct.
Are you in it? You might have to double click in a cell. You got it, okay, and then to the right. Yeah. Okay, and if we added season, you can do that, and then you can enter key that down so that it's got space there. Okay, so the team logo on Moodle, let's go ahead and save this for now. So File, Save As, and we can just call it Chapter 5. So yeah, or Tables, Chapter, in Documents if you want to. So Tables, I might do just CH5. Just to clue me in on what this is. Then we just don't want to lose anything at this point. On Moodle, you'll see that I added, and it's really kind of difficult, and I'm not going to have you go look for it. We're going to just practice with these two, and that's it. So with your assignment, you'll go find other images. It's getting much more difficult to just grab football logos and such, like free, because they're that JFIF or whatever, JFIF, so they're not really a file format you can work with. So I just went to look for free logos, and I found two. So we'll just work with these, but go ahead and download them so you can click on both of them. Oops, we don't want to do that. Oh, I wonder, I didn't do forced download. Let me change those really quick. Let me go appearance. There we go, forced download, and let me change the other one. I thought that was probably automatic on those, but it is not. And force download. Okay, so now if you do a refresh, you should be able to get those downloaded. Both of those, and then you can just put them in your documents area. So if you show in folder, you should see, so whichever one you click on, remember how you can control key and then click elsewhere. So I've got the Broncos selected right now. If I want to put them in my documents area, I've got Broncos there. I can scroll down to my R's. There's the Ravens. Control key, click on the Ravens, and I've now got just those two files selected. So control lets you non-consecutively select files, whereas shift is a block. Then I can control C, go to my documents, and then control V so that I can put them in easy location in documents. So what's usually best with the images, so they're going to be larger, most likely than the little cell that we're putting them in. So we'll have to kind of size them to fit them in there. And then we also want them to become a character in the cell as opposed to fitting over the top of a cell. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a minute. So click on your selection tool, the regular top left, and then click outside the table completely. So we don't want the table or any cells selected. So kind of your white space here, gray space. And then do a file place, and then we're going to find, looks like Broncos is first in order, so we'll pick that one. So then I just pick my Bronco logo and open. But move out into your pasteboard, so the gray pasteboard area, and then go ahead and click. So it is larger, and by the way, that's the, remember the display performance, so object display performance, and then I can look at high quality. It may or may not change very much. So again, these are free, so they're probably not great quality. Remember that the donut, so there's a frame that I can size down, but if I frame the size or size the frame down, it might cut into my image. So I don't want that. I want the image to actually be smaller. So I want to click on the little donut guy there in the middle, which then I can use the sizing handles to size that down. And again, you want to size it proportionately. So you want to probably hold your shift key down, because otherwise it's not necessarily proportionate. And I would just eyeball what you think that size is approximately. Again, I might have to do just a little bit more. And then I want my frame to be the same size, so I can click on my frame and skinny that up. It usually doesn't place, so it places it outside of it. It's just like this. and it would place outside of it rather than being inside. So what we're going to do, see, and I want it to be in the cell. So what I want to do is, this is kind of strange, copy it, Control C, double click in the Bronco cell, so I'm inside that cell, and then Control V, which pastes it in the cell. Otherwise, if I use that and I move it on top of it and I skinny things up, so let's say I go in here, so it's not a part of that cell. Does that make sense? If I'm laying the picture on top of the table, it doesn't become a part of that table. It's just a picture laying on top of it.
When we file placed it, I clicked into the cell that I wanted it in before I placed it, and it placed it in there, it perfectly moves with it.
Yeah.
If you click in the cell first,
Yeah.
Yeah. Double
Before you
click it.
place it.
okay, and it didn't
And
used
it
to
goes
do that
with it.
before. It used to place over the top of it. Yeah,
They updated it.
yeah. Anyway, so let's see. And you can size them. So does that allow you still to size? Let me Control Z. Let me go in there. File, I'll do the Ravens. Okay, and then that one's outside, so you'd want to, yeah, so you can still make it fit inside there. So that you can see the whole thing. With the checkerboard background, that's not really checkerboard though. That's part of the image, so it's really not. No. So the problem with that though, because that, so it doesn't necessarily fit if it's a landscape, so landscape logo versus square. Does that, even the Ravens one?
Yeah.
Was I not in there though? There we go. Okay, so file, place, Ravens. Yeah, see, mine's too large.
You can crop the sides in a little bit.
Right, when you go on, but you still have to do that with, so it doesn't automatically, yeah.
Yeah. And it made it-
Mhm.
Oh, you're in-
Yeah, because I think I'd want to see, I mean, you're just cropping the ends off?
It just fits in there now, yeah.
Yeah, because I think you'd want to see the whole logo.
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
You square it up. This will see the whole logo. It's just not like a elongated one. It's just.
Yeah. Anyway,
So you want it long?
I guess so that you can see the whole logo rather than, so however you add it in there so that you can see the whole logo. So we'll work with it that way. Yeah. I think that was about all I was going to do with the image portion. Highlighting any of the, oops, Control Z that. Highlighting through is exactly the same as, say, Microsoft Word. Same thing with highlighting full rows, full columns with the arrow key. You can get, I think, yeah, so the corner at the top highlights the whole table. So a lot of the similar features and functions with Microsoft Word. Once you're in the table, it simply is type. So changing to a different font style, a different size, that's all exactly the same. I'll undo that. Center aligning, you know, that's exactly the same. It's kind of nice to have, so right on the menu here, if you want to bottom align it or center align it, that's there. You also, so we can choose to right align if you want to go ahead, highlight all of the teams and just go ahead and go down through the last team. So if I wanted to right align all those, but they're really close to that right side. So if I want to push that away, remember the text frame options that you've been used to. So, and that's just simply alignment. That's your paragraph alignment. But if we go to table and then cell options, and then the first one is text. So the same cell insets that you've been used to with object text frame options, they work exactly the same. So if I only want my right side to push away, then I want to uncheck the cell inset that's all the way around. And by the way, make sure preview's on. It may or may not be turned on because you're probably first coming into tables. But go ahead and click the up arrow on right, and if you want to push that from the top as well, you can either center it within the cell or maybe just push it away from that top edge. You may want all of the top edges pushed away. If you like that 0P6, we may, oops, I just canceled what I did. Table, cell, text. So I was 0P6 and I don't know, 0P7, okay. So if we want everything to be exactly the same thing there, text, and my top alignment, I think that matches up, and then okay to that. So the rules are there, the lines are there by default. So you can go back and select everything if you want to. Every line is highlighted. I can turn it into 0. I'll undo what I just did. But I can get rid of all, so it's basically getting rid of everything that was selected. I'll Control Z that. So the lines right here, this one was not selected. It was basically the whole table, every left, every center, every right, but not that middle one. So if I want everything completely gone, you'd have to select that, and it's kind of hard to see, but you can click it on or off, turn it to 0, and then I have no lines at all. So I'll put those back to lines. I can change the line style just on the bottom of my header. And again, I can turn everything else off. Oh, is it time to go? Okay, let's save what we're doing. So file, save, and then we'll come back, and there's not a whole lot that we'll need to finish here.
Have a good weekend.
Okay, thanks, you too. See ya.